There's a smell that belongs only to hot summer mornings. Sprinkler water on warm concrete, fresh cut grass, something wild and calling, like the day hasn't made up its mind yet, but it's determined anyway. It's the kind of smell that pulls you out of the deepest sleep, and it did, every morning that summer. I'd lie there for a moment, listening to the house breathe, the hum of the ceiling fan, the soft clink of Grandma's coffee spoon, the distant tick of sprinklers outside. Then suddenly, my cousin Justin was all anyone could hear. He never just got up, he burst into the day, stomping down the hallway like a 500-pound zombie, groaning as he bumped into every wall, slamming doors, whistling and making noises no one could identify. He made noise the way other kids breathed. By the time I sat up, he was already in the kitchen, halfway through the Fruit Loops like he'd been awake for hours. I followed, quieter, slower, still half in the dream I'd been pulled from. The kitchen was warmed from the glittering sunbeams pouring through the lace curtains, smelled of vanilla pudding as usual, and Fruit Loops were scattered from one end of the kitchen to the other. I think Justin might be half Piglet. Our cousin Summer drifted in last, rubbing her eyes, yawning big, stumbling a little over the old rug that never would lie completely flat. She wobbled over, grabbed the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, leaned against the counter eating it dry straight from the box. I poured Lucky Charms into my favorite old bowl and then proceeded to steal more marshmallows to top it off. Justin caught it immediately. "Kara, you don't get extra." "I'm only taking a few." "You already have some." "I want more marshmallows." "You're messing up the ratio." "I don't care about the ratio." Justin opened his mouth to protest, but I gave him a look and said, "Justin?" He knew to keep his opinions to himself, because last time I gave him a purple nurple. He huffed, grabbed his Fruit Loops, and muttered something about people who don't respect cereal science. When he finished, he drank the milk straight from the bowl, most of it missing his mouth, running down his chin, dripping onto his shirt like he wasn't even trying. Grandma Rose appeared in the doorway, coffee in hand, looked at him, then turned around and walked away. Summer and I caught each other's eye and gave a little smile. Justin wiped his chin with his sleeve as he plopped his bowl loudly into the sink and asked, "What are we doing first?" "Store," Summer said immediately. "Pool?" he tried. "Too early," Summer said. "Field?" he said, hopeful. "After," I said. "Store, then field. Store, then field," Justin repeated, like it had been his idea all along. And that was that. The plan was set. We were all 10 years old in the summer of 1988 and best friends. We spent every summer together at our grandparents' and made the most of every second we had together. This particular day was nothing special, but it was ours. I quietly went outside first, standing still in the warm sunshine and barefoot as usual, enjoying the feeling of the warm, wet grass squishing between my toes. I was pretty shy and introverted, so I never said much, but I noticed everything, and I made sure to turn it all into vivid memories. Justin, however, barreled through the screen door, slamming it behind him, half-dressed, one shoe on, hopping down the porch steps trying to pull his left van shoe on without stopping. It never worked. He tried it every single morning anyway. He was already talking before he hit the bottom step. Summer came out last, blinking in the light, the candy necklace from the day before still around her neck, half-eaten. Pink jelly shoes on her feet, the heat already plotting their destruction. She loved them, so she wore them anyway. The heat wasn't building, it was already there, settled in, thick and bright, pressing down on everything. We started toward Yogi's Corner Store, which at 10 was basically a journey. Justin bounced a tennis ball the whole way, Off the sidewalk, off fences, off my arm when he thought I wasn't paying attention. I always was. Summer walked in the middle, narrating the world as she saw it. "Whoa! That mailbox has a face!" "It does not," Justin said. "But it has eyes." "Nope, those are reflectors." "Reflector eyes? Still a face." Yogi ran the corner store, round, quick-eyed, with a gold tooth that caught the light when he smiled. He always smelled like peppermint and old wood. He kept the radio on low, top 40 hits drifting through the aisles. He never rushed us. 3 kids with crumpled dollar bills needed time. He understood that. "Hey, Yogi!" we all said as the doorbell dinged in the background. I went straight for the ice creams. Summer grabbed Fireballs and Big League gum. Justin went straight for the Jawbreakers and licorice. Justin walked up to the counter, reaching into his pocket for money, and pulled out a toad he named Hogsworth, the kind of toad that looked like he'd eaten all the other toads. Yogi froze. Why?" "I forgot he was in there," Justin said. "You forgot?" Hogsworth blinked, unbothered. Justin finally found the actual dollar, damp, warm, and absolutely disgusting. Yogi picked it up by the very corner, arm fully extended, face twisted like he was holding a biohazard. "Boy," he said, "you keep that thing away from my register." We were dying laughing. Summer was doubled over, wheezing. I was laughing into my hand and holding my stomach. Even Yogi cracked a half-scared smile. From the store, we headed around the corner to our Uncle Ron's barber shop. He always had the good stuff. Ice-cold glass bottles of Coke pulled from a cooler that hummed in the corner. He'd hand them to us with a wink. "Don't tell Grandma." "We won't," we promised. We sat on the sidewalk, backs against cool brick, the shade stretching just far enough to matter. The first sip was sharp and cold. Perfect. Summer finished hers too fast, then tried to burp the alphabet but didn't make it too far. We all laughed. Justin waited until she relaxed and pressed his cold bottle to the back of her neck. "Justin!" "Every time." She was already laughing. I sipped slower, watching the street shimmer in the heat, considering staying right where I was to keep from melting. Summer said, "Bikes?" Justin said, "Yes!" I groaned a little. Gotta grab my shoes first. We always liked riding in the big field near the old church, where the grass grew tall, kind of dry, and the ground underneath was baked hard from the sun. There were hills, tiny streams, lots of rocks, and trails to lose time in. We also loved this field because there was always something out there, something half-buried, something strange, something that felt like it might matter. Justin was convinced treasure was buried near the cemetery. He believed an old pirate was buried there because one of the names on the headstone was Captain Edward Teach, who died in 1921. You see, Edward Teach was the real name of the famous pirate, Blackbeard, who died in 1790. I guess Justin doesn't understand dates, nor that we are nowhere near North Carolina or the ocean. Justin claimed that was just the government trying to trick us and said there were disturbances in the dirt, with a duh-type look on his face. "No, it's regular dirt," I said. Summer helped him dig, finding a really old hubcap. Justin held it up like it proved something. I said, "That could be from any era." Summer turned it in the sun. I said, "Well, it is kind of pretty, like a metal moon." Justin pointed at me. "Exactly." I walked away, lying down in the greenest grass I could find, staring up at the sky as I began calling out the shapes I saw in the clouds. Justin and Summer joined in, arguing over whether a cloud looked like a headless dinosaur or a melted popsicle. I said, "You're both wrong. It's definitely a farting taco." It was around 2 p.m. now, and the sun was definitely looking for victims. We were easy prey, so it was time for a cool down. Our grandparents had bought us an above-ground pool last summer, and it was calling our names. It was so hot we couldn't even muster the energy to ride back home, so we walked with our bikes, all wondering why we had even decided to go outside. The walk felt like it was going to take 100 years, until the jokes and memories started flying. "Oh, remember summer camp last year?" I said, when Justin tried to impress everyone by doing a backflip off the dock and his swim trunks flew off. Justin groaned. "They didn't fly off," he said. "They drifted." "Yeah," I said, "drifted right past the counselors while you screamed for someone to bring you a towel." Summer was laughing so hard she had to stop walking and began snorting. Justin covered his face. "I still can't go near a lake without checking my drawstring," he muttered. A little over halfway home, Summer shrieked and started hopping on one foot. Justin and I stared at her, confused, until I noticed she had a half-melted jelly shoe hanging on her finger. She was crying and laughing at the same time, looking like a human pogo stick bouncing around. Justin was laughing so hard he was doubled over, crying with no sound. I tried not to laugh, but we did warn her. Once our toes hit the edge of our yard, we dropped our bikes and raced to the pool. I was the fastest, so I jumped in first. And oh boy, the water was so warm it felt like a hot bath. Justin jumped in second, then Summer right after. We tried to make it work, but it was more like making kids' soup than cooling off. I yelled, "Sprinklers!" Justin and Summer both yelled back, "Yes!" We all tried to get out first, pushing each other underwater and out of the way. This time, Summer beat us, laughing as she ran off to the cold sprinkler. We danced around and chased each other for a while, then just sat there, enjoying the cool water in the hot sun without saying a word. The silence broke when our grandma's voice called out, "Lunch is ready!" We sat beneath the giant old oak tree eating cheese and ham sandwiches on white bread, chips, and milk. I hated milk, especially warm milk, ick. But I was starving and thirsty, so I didn't complain much. We sat there until the sun started going down, cooling the world off a bit. Suddenly, Justin yelled out, "Freeze tag!" It startled both me and Summer, but we quickly recovered and jumped to our feet. Justin tagged me and yelled, "You're it!" Justin ran fast in straight lines but terrible at turning. Summer, stepping aside at the last second like she'd forgotten what game we were playing. I missed her but tagged Justin on a wide left turn. He quickly tagged both me and Summer, who were pretty close to each other. While Justin was celebrating, Summer and I conspired to dogpile him and give him wet willies, mercilessly. Streetlights came on, so home we headed, walking back through warm air, fireflies flickering, someone's dinner drifting through an open window. Our day wasn't over, though, because summer nights meant forts made out of anything we could find: couch cushions, kitchen chairs, blankets, and plans that made sense only to us. Movies, board games, and midnight cookies that never quite turned out right, burnt on the bottom, soft in the middle, and sometimes way too salty. We ate them anyway. Life was so good at 10. I go back often.